Today is the review of the Abyss Diana MR. This is a headphone provided me by AV1, and thanks to them because it's only through them that I managed to try this headphone for a whole week, and not only that, compare with my previous headphone and still my current headphone in fact, the Abyss Diana Phi. Now the MR is a newer version. I'm pretty sure this is not to replace the Phi, is meant to replace the V2 because there is a Phi TC that is a direct replacement of the Diana Phi. The sound signature of the MR is quite different from the Diana Phi I have here. I'll describe it in the sound section. But before that, let's talk about its physical aspect, which looks exactly same as a Diana, every other Diana, but I would say as with better finishing. Now the leather is nicer, it's more textured, and you can see there's some accent color at the side. And also I noticed that the pads are now thicker and more plush. So these are small little improvements. Now I say that the headband has also a little bit more foam. I mean, you can see me pressing, but it's like what, half a mm more or 1 mm more foam. It does make it a little bit more comfortable, but Diana still represents some of the most uncomfortable headphone if you ask me. But luckily it is very light and I can still keep it on the head for a long period of time, and the clamping force isn't much. As you can see, if I wear this, it's not much clamping force, so I'm still pretty okay with it. Now with the more plush, I'll say as pads, it does seal slightly better, but I did notice that with the Diana series, the sealing is not very important. In fact, it doesn't matter too much, at least for the listener itself. Maybe for measurements, there are huge difference. Now, when it comes to the sound quality of the MR, as I said, this, I believe, is not a replacement for the Phi, it's meant for a replacement of the V2 Diana. So the sound is actually quite different from the Diana Phi itself. This, I feel, is a sound that more people can appreciate rather than the Diana Phi. And let me explain why. Now, in the sound stage, I would say it's a bigger sound. However, it doesn't feel as open as the Phi. So this is still very impressive because the Diana series is never small sounding. It's just a little bit more closed up if you compare to other headphones. But the Diana Phi always felt like, yes, it's a little bit more closed up, but it feels like infinitely open. It's like hearing music in the open space. While the MR feels a bit more like listening in the big room. At least there is an improvement in the size and placement of all the things. At least the mids feels a little bit more behind. Now when it comes to transient response, I did feel that the Phi is a bit more fast. It is more clean, more incisive with all the bass and the various instruments. It just cuts out a little bit cleaner and a little bit more exciting also, I feel that the MR is fine. It is still top-notch compared to any flagship itself, just not the same as the Phi. Now, when it comes to, I'll say as the separation on the MR is, I would say as, because of the sound stage and also how the mids are like, which I will describe in the mid section, I feel that the MR separation is a touch better than the Phi itself. It's at least easier to identify all the instruments within the scene, especially here orchestra type sound like from Final Fantasy 14 soundtracks. It just feels a little bit better. The separation of the various music instruments within the scene. Now, when it comes to details, I think they are very comparable. Pretty much, I don't have much complaints. It's still a very flagship-like detail. You can hear every single thing. It's just easier to focus on the MR than the Phi. The Phi is like too exciting, and the mids are quite strong, and the MR is just a bit more relaxed in the mids. So you can easily pinpoint all the various details in the scene compared to the Phi itself. When it comes, I'll say as to the timbre of the sound, I feel that both of them are within the more neutral type of range. They are not warm headphones nor very analytic and cold headphones, so I'm okay with it. At least with my Ferrum, I feel that they are very enjoyable, very neutral. With the A70 from Zpeaktures, it becomes very analytical and overly clean and sterile and cold to me, which I didn't like, and very flat sounding. So that is the difference between the amplifiers. I'll talk more about amplification at the back. Now, when it comes to the bass, I think that it is still a very bass-like headphone, very fast, exciting, and punchy. Now, when it comes to the absolute lowest bass rumble, it doesn't go like a order zero. It just doesn't feel that way. But anything slightly above that, there is so much impact, so much excitement, so much texture to it on the Diana series of headphones. And that's the reason why I still keep my Diana Phi so fun to listen. especially in the bass regions itself. And I say as the bass is very clean, it doesn't like, you know, leak into any other spectrum, even though there's like heavy bass music from any of the orchestra like song or any song from YOASOBI where there's always a bass behind beating. It just never like spill over to any other spectrum, which is very nice and very clean. Now, when it comes to the mids, that's where I think the biggest difference between the MR versus the Phi. It feels a bit more back. Like somebody, you know, singing, take a half step back kind of feeling. And that's how I feel about the mids. It's just a little bit more back and it's a bit more even throughout the spectrum. I feel that at times, I feel the Phi had something funky in there. I just don't know where. But the MR felt like, you know, it took a step back and very smooth and flat, nice throughout for the mids. No complaints on that. I enjoy all like things like guitar, violin, those instruments that are playing in the mid section. It sounds really nice and sounds bigger on the MR versus the Phi. The Phi just sounds very exciting in your face when the mids come in. That's how I feel. But the MR feels a little bit more, slightly laid back, slightly bigger sound for the mids itself. And overall, no funny sound in the mids region compared to the Phi. Now, when it comes to the treble, I think that the treble itself is sparkly enough, it's exciting enough, but there's no sibilance in either of these headphones, no matter which song I listen to. Now, I don't listen to songs with a lot of treble and purposely listen to any of them anyway. So when sibilance do happen, I feel very irritated by it. But with both of these headphones, I don't get any sibilance. And I also notice that the treble is just nice. It's never too hot for me, so all is great, at least for the treble itself. And that's really about it for the sound of the MR. I personally feel that for most people, the MR may be the better sound. But if you want the really a bass-like sound with very high level of excitement, you may want to compare and then try the Phi or the Phi TC. I'm not sure of the Phi TC. I haven't tried it yet. But if it's anything like the Phi, it'll probably be a more exciting headphone compared to the MR. And some people who buy a bass really is looking for that quality, and for that, go look out for the old Phi or maybe try the Phi TC. If it's the same technology, it's probably going to be a bit more similar. But if not, I think that the MR is a bit more suitable for the general public who just wants a very nice, clean headphone that is exciting enough and sounds great and not so in your face for a headphone. So the MR is great. Now, when it comes to amplification, I have tried various amplification through different type of amps. I can show you a picture here. And I put the Ferrum All here because I felt that this is the best matching. With the Phi, I would prefer MKH 200. And that's because the Ferrum All has a generally relatively focused type of mids and vocals, but not too focused like the GSX Mini. I don't like that too focused sound unless it's very dispersed headphone. And also it's more exciting than other headphone amplifier I have. So combination of both on the MR gives me a more balanced sound than other amplifiers. If I was to use this with the Toping A70, I felt it too clinical, too cold and too flat. And when I try the GSX Mini, it feels a bit more lifeless. I don't know why. With MKH 200, it feels very soothing, big and nice. But I don't know, for Abyss, I feel it's a bit too soothing, a bit too big for me. But with the Phi, it's just nice. I mean, the Phi originally was too exciting to start with. So, yeah. That's it. For amplification, I prefer the Ferrum All with the Hypsos power unit. But if not, I don't think there's any issue powering up this with many other amplifiers themselves. Just try around and see which fits you best. Now, some people did say that the Diana MR is supposed to be something easier to drive than the Phi. I don't think so. At least I don't feel that way. I drove it with my M70. I drove it with my Quistar M15, those very low power device, or lower power device. I mean, the M17 is a monster still, but lower power device. Then I ramp it up into the larger headphone amplifiers like the Ferrum, the GSX Mini, or the MKH 200. When it comes to volume, right, it's easier to drive the Dyna Phi than the MR. And in terms of quality, the difference between them is quite consistent throughout. I don't feel like any one of them felt more lifeless or loss of power with the poor amplification. I think it's either both of them felt the same, equally bad, or they are all equally good, just with the characteristics of the headphone itself. So at least that's for me. You know, I don't feel that this MR is any easier to drive than the Phi. Maybe it's because of its quality, which I feel more acceptable for most. So it probably will accept most amplification better than the Phi. The Phi is a bit more picky because of how it presents its sound. No, very strong mids, very powerful and super open sound. So you may want to adjust it based on your liking using amplification, while the MR probably is okay for most devices. You know, they'll sound pretty good with it. And that's about it for this review. Now, the last thing I want to share is the cables. Well, the cables themselves still didn't change from many years back. The only thing that changed, I did notice, at least the cable that was provided to me, that there's actually a different color. I don't know whether you can see it, but one is like slightly orange and one is slightly blue for the cables that go into the headphones. While the older version, I don't remember them having this. But other than that, it's still the same tin little wires that connects to the head cups itself. Well, and still the weird ass plug. But it's the same one. So if you own the Phi, you can actually interchange the cables with the MR. So all is great. That's my review on the Diana MR. Now the Diana MR, I believe, is cheaper than the Phi TC, and therefore, if you compare to the original price of the Phi, it should also be slightly more affordable. Now, cheap is never a beast thing. It is always expensive. It's just how expensive. And the MR is slightly more affordable. And considering this design is damn great, I do not know whether they intend to let you walk on the street and use it, but because of how leaky the Diana series is, don't try to bring it out. I mean, it's impressive to your friends. You can let them hear in a room, but I don't think this is something that you walk on the street with. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this review and you hear me comparing stuff, talk about this audio quality and amplification stuff. I hope you enjoy it. That's my honest review of the Diana MR, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.